Hi, this is Press of Atlantic City Sports Editor Mark Melhorn, and I'm here with our Eagles beat writer David Weinberg to talk about the Eagles draft, the first draft under new coach Chip Kelly. And Dave, was fairly eventful. I mean, I think in the past, I know you've mentioned to me before that the Eagles under Andy Reid have had a history of sort of wheeling and dealing a little bit within the draft and moving up and down. Now, obviously, there was a little bit of that excitement today on Saturday, but for the most part, it went pretty much, with the picks that they had. Overall, how do you think the Eagles did with Kelly's first draft?
Actually, I was pretty impressed. I had my doubts going into the draft about whether they would stick to their guns and just focus on their draft board rather than reaching to fill specific needs. Mm-hmm. They always talk about doing that, but they don't really carry it through. But this time they did. I want to give Chip Kelly and Howie Roseman a lot of credit. They didn't reach for any players that they thought might fit in, but they stuck to the rankings they had on the draft board and didn't vary much from it. And as a result, I think they came up with some pretty good players.
Yeah, I mean, starting at the top, when they got in the offensive lineman that I think most fans feel they desperately needed after watching the debacle of last year with all the injuries and stuff. But, I think they also got help on the defensive side of the ball, although I think you probably would say offense maybe ruled a little bit more than defense.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of helping their defense through free agency and trades in the offseason, picking up guys like Kyle Brown. And with the draft, I was really impressed with getting Zach Ertz in the second round. I think he's going to wind up being a steal for them, the tight end out of Stanford. He's a big, strong, fast playmaker in the mold of, say, Rob Gronkowski, those kind of guys. It seems that's the trend that the league is going towards now with tight ends who can get down the field and make plays, and I think he fits in very well in that mold. And of course, Matt Barkley today, that's going to be a real steal. Not only do I think he's the Eagles' quarterback of the future, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's the starter on opening day this year. I just think he's that good, and assuming he can pick up Chip Kelly's offense fast enough, I think it'll be a pleasant surprise for Eagles fans.
Right, that's a pretty bold statement. I mean, it's interesting when you look at it. You don't really always look at the fourth round pick as probably their most talked about pick, but I think you're right. I think obviously Barkley's got the most cachet, or certainly the most well known of their picks. To most fans. I think it's surprised some people though, in that I think people feel like Kelly has this mold of a quarterback that has to be mobile, and Barkley doesn't necessarily fit that mold.
No, that's kind of the misconception that Chip keeps talking about, that it's automatically assumed that he needs a guy who's going to run the ball, a Michael Vick type who can rush for 1,000 yards and throw for 1,000, but he keeps insisting that's not necessarily the case. He had years at Oregon where he had a fairly mobile quarterback and threw the ball 40, 50 times a game, and if that's the talent that he has at quarterback, if he thinks Matt Barkley can do it, he'll go with it. He doesn't necessarily need Michael Vick to run the offense. If he thinks there's the guy who's better suited to lead the team, he'll probably go Sean McCoy a few times, and I think Barkley throw the ball out to him.
And anything else about this draft that's really stuck out to you besides Barkley and I guess addressing the offensive line in the first round? And I agree with what you're saying about Ertz. I think he's going to be a real talent leading forward. The only thing I'll say though is that's 3 tight ends now that they have, right?
Actually, they have 4.
Clay Harbor, right?
Yeah, James Casey and Brent Salek and Ertz and Clay Harbor. Kelly, strangely enough, didn't mention Clay Harbor at all in his discussions about the tight end position this weekend, which leads me to believe maybe he'll be traded or let go pretty soon.
I mean, why do you think? I mean, I know that it seems like teams like the Patriots now feature multiple tight end sets. I mean, I guess maybe that's the way that Kelly might be looking with this offense. I think there seems to be a lot of mystery about what this offense is going to be like. Yeah,
and he hasn't really let it be known what he's going to do, although Barkley kind of hinted today that he was told by the Eagles that it's not necessarily the same kind of offense that he ran at Oregon. I think the pace of play will be the same. He'll try to run as many plays as he can and get the guys to hustle to the line of scrimmage and stuff, but it won't necessarily be the lead option offense. It's kind of on the range. I don't know if he'll be doing that all the time, but it'll be just interesting to see. And like you said, the tight end's going to be a major role in the offense regardless. They're not going to carry a fullback this year, I don't think, having traded Stanley Levine, which which means that they're going to have 2 and 3 tight ends sent out, and I think that'll pay off well with the talent that they have.
So overall, how would you grade? If you had to give a grade to this draft? I know that it's kind of silly to do that sometimes because you don't really know how it's going to play out. But as far as like what you expected and how it played out, how would you evaluate it? A good one for at least for now.
Yeah, I think so. I'll give it like a B+, A- kind of draft. Lane Johnson's going to fit in well as a first-round pick. They still have a tremendous talent on the offensive line, assuming everybody comes back healthy, which I think they will, particularly Jason Peters and Jason Kelsey. This allows them to move Tom Lyons back inside the guard, where he's better suited anyway. And I guess Danny Watkins is going to be on the bench or moved elsewhere. That'll give Lane Johnson a chance to win the right tackle position. I think we talked earlier, they didn't reach to fill needs, but they were filling some needs anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I said with the offensive line, tight end, quarterback, they picked up a safety well from North Carolina State, who I think that challenge for a starting job. So I think they did a good job of getting guys who may challenge for starting positions and guys who can provide some much needed depth on the defensive line and things. So I think they did pretty well.